Hi there, this is Sifu Slim coming to you live with another video, and this one is completely impromptu, and this is something that's been a joy, is meeting people who've had a very different experience than I've had and tapping into what their recent in this experience is. And so we're going to talk to a new person here, and it's Corona time. This is my first mask interview, which normally I'll do it with a laptop or something and will be remote, and so there's no need for a mask, but here we are in person with our masks on. So Sifu Slim at Sifu.com, inviting in a person who's going to introduce himself.
Hey, my name is Jacob Sannon. I played football at University of Idaho, and then post that I had 3 opportunities to play in the NFL as well. So, yeah.
Come on up here, Jacob.
Oh yeah, for sure.
So I'm 6'2.5", and I have tennis shoes on, and you got a little bit lower heel, so I'm going to guess 6 foot.
I'm 5'11.5", so right about there.
5'11.5", so we're pretty close to getting him right. And now I'm going to guess his weight now. I'm going to say 198.
Yep, right about there.
Right about there.
Yep.
And then I'm going to say his playing weight might have been 205.
No, 195.
195. So
200 is my peak.
200 at your peak. Okay.
Yeah.
You actually didn't go 4 years, right? Correct. Playing football?
Actually, yeah, I played 5 in college.
Okay.
I got hurt 1 year. Yeah.
5 in college. So
Yeah.
your biggest was what year?
My top year?
I mean, in terms of weight, your mass on your body. What was
195, yeah, because I played receiver in college, and that kind of really helped me to keep my weight down just because I was always running.
Always running.
Yeah, but I mean, I got into college, came in college at 175, so I put on 20 pounds in college.
And are you from Jamaica or somewhere?
Yeah. So I'm actually from Florida, but my parents are from Haiti.
Haiti?
Yeah,
okay.
so...
Tu parles français?
A little bit. Yeah, it's not... I'm more Creole. I speak Creole better than French, but my mom for sure could speak French.
Good.
Yeah.
So good. The good news on Jacob here is I'm looking at good posture, so that's really important, whether he's an athletic guy or doing work at a desk or helping his girlfriend move, all that stuff, the posture, really happy with that. When you go to the weight room, or when you go now and when you went in college, did you see some people that were kind of hunched over in the shoulders?
Oh yeah, for sure. And I think that's something that like people don't gain naturally. I think through the Olympic weight training, that's something that I was taught to always try to keep that balance in within my spine and my legs, just to really try to prevent injuries and other things like that. So
it also looks good when you go out on your dances all decked out and everything, right?
Yeah, for sure.
Standing up. So Jacob, what were you doing in high school, and where were you in high school?
So I went to high school in Southeast in Bradenton, Florida, and I played. Growing up, I really was just trying to get exposed to as many sports as possible. So I did football, track and field, and basketball. But even before that, I was doing like soccer, cross country in middle school at an early on age, because I really believed in cross training. So I really just wanted to expose myself to as many sports as possible, just so I could become a more well-rounded athlete.
How did you know about cross training when you were a young person?
Yeah, I mean, I think I read a lot about other athletes and really tried to just understand what made a great athlete. So like the little books you had in middle school, biographies about athletes? little magazines, or even just like watching or documentaries on certain athletes. I realized that like athletes like LeBron James, who was a great basketball player and football player, I looked at people that I looked up to, and I was like, if they're doing that, that's and I remember reading one magazine that said like that's really important. And then when I got to high school, my football coach really wanted me to just he was just like, do as many sports as you can, and I think that really helped me.
That's a really good thing to hear, because what I write about in my book, so the second book is called The Aging Athlete, so it talks about these athletes who, and we also throw military personnel, we throw Broadway dancers, we throw general contractors. They're called industrial athletes because they're doing that heavy physical work. And what happens to more than 90% of these people, men and women, unfortunately, is the day they leave the high-performance activity, and that could be a 17-year-old Russian gymnast, or that could be a 65-year-old general contractor, or a 28-year-old U.S. Marine, is more than 90% become mostly sedentary. They stop moving on a regular basis after that high-performance year is over. And when I got that book out, I had a parent come to me, and she said, why don't you write a book for the coaches and the parents and the young athletes so that you can teach these people about balance at a very young age. And balance, like you were talking about, is it was the way that was optimal for you, it was normal for you, whereas in college it sounded like that you were doing football and agility and weight room type stuff year round.
Oh yeah, for sure.
So it was like concentrating on all the football skills.
Yeah, and two, it was like sometimes you get tired as an athlete doing the same thing over and over again, so it really brought that excitement of changing it up, especially just like transitioning to something like basketball, where it's like group of guys just could get together and just have fun.
So in college you could do that?
Not in college. In college, I was strictly football in college.
Okay.
So,
but you didn't play pickup basketball?
I did.
Oh, you did? Okay.
I did, yeah.
So that was on your own?
Yeah, and so in college, I actually I did pick up basketball with intramural sports, and then I did as well as soccer. So, yeah.
What year in college was your heaviest musculature year?
Well, I would say my junior and senior year, I was at 195. I peaked at 185 like before I got to my 195, I struggled to get to 195. It was right around 185 where I had a new coach come in, and he really told me like all these Olympics athletes, what they do, they really focus on protein and fat. And no one ever told me that going up until then. We had a great weightlifting coach, and he really pushed on just eating as much as you can. But it wasn't until like I really focused my diet around protein and literally like breakfast, lunch, and dinner having like really lean protein, and that's when I started gaining more weight.
How did you get the fat? What type of fat did you eat?
Well, I still have the same diet that I did back then, and it's super simple. Like a lot of people think you gotta make all these complex things. It's just literally I had eggs every morning, whether it was boiled or scrambled or just over easy. I would have like 3 to 4 eggs every morning, and then literally like Sundays make a big thing of chicken and literally eat it throughout the week. Or and then third was pasta, or eating pasta dishes. And pasta was good, especially like when I was really high active, just because that really you get a lot of carbs from it. Sure. So, but beef was also my
staple food.
Yeah. So that was kind of like my 3 main things that I ate throughout college, and it was like super simple to cook.
How was your sleep during all the pressure to perform in your sporting event, do your social stuff with your contacts, and then also get all of your papers in and get ready for your tests and complete your assignments? How did you sleep, and what was your stress level during the 4 to 5 years?
Yeah, I think it's different for everyone, but I think that coming in, I think I was really prepared for what was coming my way, but I think my activity level was so high that by the time it was nighttime, I didn't struggle to sleep at all. Yeah. And to tell you
like a light?
Yes, exactly. Yeah. But now that I'm done and I'm no longer active as much as I was, I really struggle to sleep at night.
Now? And you're how old?
I am 26 right now.
So, not an old man?
Yeah, not an old man.
If you were a pro, you'd be in your prime, right?
Yeah, exactly.
And so struggling with sleep. So we'll talk about that in a second. I want to find out a little bit more about college. What was the hardest thing for you in college? Could have been studies, could have been sports, could have been a friend that needed you, whatever it was.
I think the hardest thing in college as an athlete for me was traveling. We were in the Sun Belt Conference in this was back when Idaho was in the Sun Belt Conference, and Idaho is one of the only schools in the Northwest in the Sun Belt Conference. So we flew to the East Coast most of our games, and we'd get back at around 2 a.m., 3 a.m. in the morning, and then practice that same day on Sundays, right after games. So I think that was like the toughest part in season.
Was it the focus or the fatigue or a little bit of both?
A little bit of both. I mean, it's just kind of, you get to a point where you do the same thing over and over again, and sometimes it does feel like you're kind of going through the motions. But late season, it's been a long season. You go through so many different injuries. By the end of the season, you're just tired, you know. So I think that was one of the toughest parts. But a lot of people don't. I mean, you just met me. I actually graduated college as a Summa Kum Laude. So top of my class. So education came, I wouldn't say it came easy, but it wasn't as much of a struggle as it is for a lot of other people.
So you have a ability to memorize chapters and books?
Yes. Yeah. So in college, actually, I did better looking at the textbooks than listening to the lectures. And then learning playbooks. I was really good at studying my playbook.
Is it this big?
Yeah, you could say that. I knew not only
you had to know everything on the offense, right?
Yeah, exactly. And I mean, I knew as a receiver, I knew every receiver play or like every route for the receivers, but not too many receivers could actually memorize what the X receiver is going to be doing or the Y. Wow. And I was one of the few that would be like on the field helping other guys out while I'm also doing my thing. And then when I had a tryout with the Raiders, and kind of the same thing. I memorized all these different positions.
How long did they give you the book before you had the tryout?
Oh man, the tryouts were insane. They'll say like they give you like a day or two to learn a lot of these big major plays, and it's like the NFL is a pro style system, so like their playbook their routes and everything is way completely different. So
when the new recruits going through the tryouts were with you, were you seeing them struggle with that learning process, whereas for you it was no problem?
Yeah, for sure.
Wow.
For sure.
So you could get drafted on, I can't remember the guy from Southern California, Marshall Falk. You know who he is? Mm-hmm. Famous running back. He was incredibly gifted with football knowledge. Mm-hmm. He thought like the top coaches in the United States. He had that same mindset and ability to conceptualize and intellectualize it. So it sounds like you had some of that ability. You need a manager? I think we should go for the NFL.
Oh no, that run is over for me. It's
for right now.
It's over. It's I kind of realized after that first go around, my body was it caught up to me, and it was time for me to move on.
So when I do, I'm 58 now, and when I was doing Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu as like a 2 or 3 times a week, normally I would get 4 injuries per year. They weren't like career stopping, but sometimes it took 3 to 6 months to get something back to 100% or close to 100%. Is that low for a college football player, 4 injuries per year?
4 injuries per year? Yeah,
I think it could be a sprained finger.
That's definitely low.
That's low.
Or it depends on the sport.
For
football, that would be a very low.
So you and your buddies could have like 10 things wrong or five things wrong at the same time, and then 10 total things wrong per year?
Yeah, for sure.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. And I mean, some people could manage to push through it, some people can't.
Your fingers okay?
No, not necessarily. You can kind of tell, like, this one.
Show them, like, to the camera.
Yeah, you can kind of tell this right one's a little swollen out here. It's more swollen than this left one. And then there was like a bone within right here that is, it got chipped. And basically, I had to tape these 2 fingers together just so I could prevent this happening and it getting worse. Until this day, if anybody like tries to pull this finger too far, I'll feel it within here. So and that was like one of the smaller injuries that I've had.
That's a small one.
That's a small one.
It's a nagger. It doesn't want to go away.
Yeah, I mean, I don't feel the pain unless like someone were to irritate it, right? So, but I think when I get older, I'll definitely feel a lot of these injuries where it's like I never realized how much it impacted me.
Foam rolling. Tell me about that.
Yeah, so foam rolling, I think I used to do the foam rolling more when right before lifting. I think I probably could have did a better job of managing the recovery after what I did. But specifically, I think foam rolling was great for my back and my legs.
Yep.
Those are like the 2 things I foam rolled most. But sometimes it's very helpful, but other times you're like so sore, it's like
It didn't do it.
yeah, it didn't do anything. So
how about Epsom salts baths?
Oh, I haven't done that.
Okay.
I haven't done that.
It's it puts magnesium inside your system, and magnesium goes to where the pain is and deadens the pain.
Mm-hmm.
And it's a good thing for magnesium. We need that in our body, so it's like it's an injection of magnesium into our system, and it goes in very quickly. The pores absorb that when you're in the hot bath. So check that out. And then the sleep. So you know who Yuval Harari is?
Mm-mm.
Okay, so Yuval Harari's on YouTube. He's a thought leader from Israel, and he's got a background in history. He wrote 2 books. The first one was his book that he wrote for his PhD. He wasn't going to publish it. He wrote it for a PhD thesis, and all of a sudden it became a bestseller. And then his second book. So the first one was called Sapiens, and the next book he wrote was called Homo Deus. So it's like the history of how we look to the gods to solve issues, that kind of thing, and how we worship that as Homo sapiens. So it was interesting. But that one, 35 million copies is sold this year. And what he talks about is how he meditates. So he does it a lot more time than I could ever wish to do it. But I think he does 2 hours per day, and then he'll do like a month-and-a-half retreat where they don't talk, and it's a total meditative retreat. It might be a month or 2. So he does all these things to, what would you call it, to balance himself and to stay out of that really busy mind, because you're in a business job, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Accounting?
Yeah.
So just tons of information, and on your email list and on your list from your company, there's probably another 20 things that you're supposed to be doing. Right?
Yeah.
And so how do you go to sleep with all that pressure? So that's one of the things that the fitness, the meditation, the togetherness with a significant other, all these things can help us. And some people use religion, some people use meditation, these types of things. So what do you think you might want to try to help your current? Is it a busy mind, or what do you think is keeping you up?
What mostly I think is keeping me up now is always trying to figure out how to shut down my mind. I just feel that my mind is always active, and especially like with so many screens.
Oh man!
Wherever I go, whether it's my phone or having a desk job now, that screen, it's something about the light in the screen, and I've tried like blue light glasses, and I don't know if it's working or not. But
you had a life with a lot of outdoor activities, and then all of a sudden you're inside all day. So that's a whole different thing for your physiology to adapt to.
Yeah, and then I think with me, I'm very entrepreneurial spirited, so I'm still like at a point where I'm trying to figure out a lot in life, and the more I try to figure it out, and the more like confusion I have in my head, it feels like the worse I sleep at night, just because I'm I just have so much that I'm trying to figure out at once.
Yeah. So a very special individual, Jacob, and I'm going to get his email and contact information. I'll send him a link to this video, and we'll check back with him as he continues and turns the clock to age 27 and further out, and we'll see how he's doing with mind, body, and spirit, and taking some of his gifts and putting them back into the planet where they're needed. That's a nice goal for all of us to find, is how to take our gifts and spread those gifts around, and we get rewarded by seeing the joy that brings, all of that good knowledge and good caring heart-centered lifestyle. So I'm Sifu Slim, SifuSlim.com, author of The Aging Athlete and the soon-to-be released Are You Raising a Child Athlete? Things You Need to Know. And that's a book for coaches, parents, and kids to become more balanced, not just winning at all costs, not just impressing their friends and their coaches, but actually being a balanced person so that they know how to take care of themselves in the off-season, after they're done with their school career or their professional career, what to do based on learning how to maintain your mind, body, and spirit all the way along. And you should know that. We all know how to floss our teeth. Why don't we know how to take care of our mind, body, and spirit? So those are some of the things I talk about. And we'll come back to you real soon. Please like, please subscribe. Aloha.
Aloha. Thank you so much.